Greetings and welcome everybody to the Jane Live Miracle Medicine on a Thursday, where we belt it out. We look at practical, real-time miracle events where people show turnarounds in their health by just allowing the innate ability of the body to heal. It's really as simple as that. So thanks for joining me. It's always awesome to see all of you here, and honored to have you here, and a real blessing always to be able to share and interact. So today I would love to have your questions. This is the third part of lungs and lung health. Quite an important one, because we're going to be looking at the physical structure of breathing and the emotional attachment that's normally associated with a problem, be it the abdomen, the solar plexus, the rib cage, the heart itself, the lungs. And we're going to be looking at posture, because in the recent series, we've been having a look at how to maximize the oxygen right into the cell. And we've looked at anatomy and physiology. So those of you who missed some of the series, I urge you to go to the Jane McKenzie YouTube channel and have a look there at the recent and past videos on the lungs. We've also done the gut. So the gut brings the nutritional food to the cell, and the lungs through the blood bring the oxygen to the cell. So these two are really key organs of the body. And, without those two, we do battle, because I always say the petrol doesn't get through to the car, to the engine. The car can't come on. So very important that we understand all of these and understand the role of the breath as well, and breathing, in terms of finding our center point. This center point is the point from which we need to be operating. It's the peaceful point. It's the point where we are calm, where there is no rigidity in our body, no sloppiness in our body. We are upright. We are thinking. We have an invisible thread from the top right through to the ground, and we are anchored. It's a kind of an equilibrium. And what I liken it to is, if anybody's done scuba diving, and you reach the left, right, top, bottom balance. And we're striving for this. And when we do that, the mechanistic organs and apparatus for breathing are optimized, and we will then also get the maximum oxygen into the cell. And then that's not only cells of the heart, or it's also the cells of the brain. And the brain can be, our top brain, our observer brain, which is emotional, our heart brain, and our gut brain. So the heart brain would be the feelings. The gut brain we've talked about many times as well. And that is the place where we want to be making our decisions from. I will talk about that a little bit later. I'll talk about the hara point that the Chinese speak about. Just a second. I'm doing some buddy breathing here with the charger for the computers. So I'll talk about that central point in the gut brain, and that standing position, breathing position, operating position in terms of making our intelligent decisions, and not being swayed by emotions, and not also reacting to situations out there, and reducing our energy, reducing the battery, the charge of the battery, by being fearful, angry, anxious, envious, sad, etc., etc. So those kind of emotions, to react, you are discharging your battery. So we want to do whatever we can to keep our battery charged and our cells topped up with oxygen and a very positive electron flow. In other words, little resistance, which will require detoxification always, and nourishment. So, quite interesting. A man and a wife came in for assessments the other day, and they have different clinical picture, but the same fundamental, low oxygen, high acidity, high inflammation, and low cell vitality. So in order to reset them, we use our, now I would say sort of famous 365 Healthy by Choice Reset Kit. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And so part of the feedback I got was, but you gave us the same things. And I said, yes, I did. because as a reset, we need to do the same for both your bodies. It's like if you're growing spinach, you wouldn't combine with the oxygen and form the ATP, the energy. So, that just goes to show you, we do need the same things. We are batteries, we are human, So, it was just wonderful sort of, somebody's assessment of how it all works here. Anyway, be that as it may, we get the results we need because we follow reset, restore, and rejuvenate. 3 different sets of activities happen depending on the body's innate ability to heal. And then the time spent in those 3 different phases will be dependent upon that. But the end result is a body in homeostasis, maximum cell vitality, 95% oxygen or 100 inside the cell, huge amounts of energy, clear thinking, and living productively 365 days a year. So again, as I said to you, as simple as that, just do what we say. And I say that, tongue in cheek. But, when I'm doing in-store assessments and things, and the clients come back a week later and they walk up and they'll tell the people sitting in the chairs next to me, just do what she says. Don't get logical about it. Just do what she says. And I have to say, those patients that come in that just do are the ones that actually do the best, because they're not getting caught up in information. The ones that have the hardest time in understanding what we need to do are the ones that are in their head. Too much in their head. They haven't the faintest idea. They can't focus. They can't zoom in and listen to what the directions might be or whatever the case is. But the third time they come back, or even second, they are absolutely on form. They get it. Jane, I get it this time. I'm with you. I'm hearing what you're saying. A whole different perspective. The body's upright. It's strong. There's strength. There's blood flowing everywhere. Vitality, life force, chi, prana, whatever you want to call it. So, I suppose, the method speaks for itself. And it's quantum medicine for those of you joining us. It's the new paradigm. I've been talking about a paradigm shift for the last 10 years. And, even in my PhD thesis, which I'm doing on a model for natural health, a framework, we're talking about the new paradigm to do with them. And then you sit back, there's no guesswork. We will always do a baseline assessment to key and log the risk factors, and then we will measure afterwards every time as well. So, there's no getting away from it. It's either working or it's not, and it works. And quickly too. So getting back to our main area today, which is it's the lungs first of all, and I've likened this to, well, it's not even likened. It's the leaves of a plant behave exactly the same as the lungs, or vice versa, because they're the interface between the outside of the body of the plant and the inside of the body and the plant. So the gaseous exchange is happening through the lungs and the leaves. So if we have a look, I'll show you some pictures now just to get the visual for you. I'm opening on the first page of the slide. There's a beautiful picture of natural. There's the bronchioles. And then here we have 2 beautiful leaves, absolutely, in the shape of the lungs. So, you always do see, the balance in nature reflected in our cells. So we're really wanting today to find that center point, that balance point, left, right, top, bottom. And I'm going to be sharing that with you. And we're going to also talk about the 30-day lung detox challenge. So we've done the gut, and now we're doing the lung. And next week we'll be doing one of the newer detox organs. So all got to do with the quantum medicine. And I'll show you some things on radiation later as well. So here we have a diagrammatic picture of our lungs with basically the bronchus and the bronchioles right down to the alveolar. I'll show you that again for those of you who just joined us, and you'll just get a little bit of the physiology, and just so that we're all on the same page. So nice graphic there to do that. And, nice another graphic to sort of show again the healthy and unhealthy lungs of a smoker. And we talked last time, smoking is associated with every single disease because it makes the blood thick. When the blood's thick, it moves slowly. The oxygen to the major organs is low. Instead of being 100%, it can be 70, 60, 50, 40%. So it's absolutely key and critical that blood is moving a maximized pace as it should be, and clean. The vessel walls not caked and clogged with plaque. The parasites out, and so we've got full flow. All right, so critical, the lungs and the blood, obviously, and then the vitality of the cell. So just another indication of, some sick lungs. And then just to bring the key value of oxygen in here, it's essential. Our posture is essential. Clear lungs, blood, and membranes are essential to life. So anybody who watches these 3 parts on lungs, I did another one on Tuesday night as well on the live immune event. There's 4 videos. Anybody who's not sure about lungs after this, well, you know what? I don't know. Watch the videos again, I'd say. So the oxygen is the key nutrient. So I'm not spending long here because I would like you to go and watch the other 2 or 3 videos. But the photosynthesis is what happens in the plant. So the plant will obviously entrap the sunlight and breathe in the carbon dioxide and then breathe out the oxygen. And whereas we will breathe in the oxygen and breathe out the carbon dioxide. And through our nostrils, the bronchus, the bronchioles, the little alveoli over here, straight through into the blood system, and then straight to the cell membrane and inside the cell to make energy for us. So this is very delicate little membrane there. Needs to be looked after. So here's another beautiful picture in nature of 2 real lungs. And, some of these top diseases. So if any of these top diseases are troubling you, I would suggest get a baseline assessment, find out the root cause. And we do that easily with our quantum devices and the live blood analysis. We find out, what the root cause is, validate those risk factors, start realigning the body, and then we re-measure. We will always do emotions because emotions are reflected in the physical. Right. And we'll speak about that in a moment. It's absolutely key and critical and it's crucial. So this is the cell, which I spoke about, the cell vitality. On Tuesday, we were talking about the membrane potential here and the charge of the outer membrane of the cell, which needs to be minus 90, minus 95 millivolts. If it doesn't have that potential, it's very difficult for the oxygen to move through, the smaller food particles to move through, and the sodium-potassium pump is often not operating properly either due to ineffective breathing, mouth breathing, posture, and then the electron flow that we would get that from food, from sun, from oxygen, from earthing, forming the ATP in the with the use of the mitochondria and then resetting the human genetic code. So even our human genetic code is maintained, restored, and aligned with breathing. Also the microbes and all that, but the breathing is key here. If you're sore anywhere in your body, you need to breathe and sort out your emotion. So the emotion will be restricting the breathing. Okay, so now we're going to be having a look, because we looked at lungs a lot in the previous webinars, and I'm going to look at the chest right now. So you got that one in front of you. There's a dear old lady. Just look at that posture. The chest is the point where all the life-saving organs are encased, okay, in the chest. It's the central point. It's the most vital point. The chest represents our public image, strong and powerful, or weak and retracted. You can see from the image here. When you point or refer to yourself as the chest, you point to the chest. So the common place where you call yourself I or me. So the heart is underneath that, which is, it's got the warm feelings and passion and so on. And if the chest is retracted and down, your sense of self-worth and self-centeredness is down. So centeredness is the point we're wanting to reestablish through our posture. So if we've collapsed our chest, we're crushing the diaphragm, we're crushing the transverse colon, we're crushing the lungs, the stomach, and most importantly, the heart. So we actually like to sleep with the pillow in between our arms on the side to keep the heart open when we sleep even. And then obviously during the day. It doesn't mean the reverse about pulling the shoulders back and pushing the chest forward and the bum out at the back. And I'll show you that in a moment. So this lady, you can see, her sense of feelings, her self-worth, her self-centeredness, is really revealing, and lots of sadness, hopelessness, depressed. The arms are limp, and she's in a sorry state. The electrical potential of her body is down, and I mean, this kind of patient is the one that goes onto the ventilator eventually. Wow, now we have the chest out, shoulders back, the bravado, the valour, and so on. And again, this is not conducive to proper breathing and good emotions, because what is that the puffed up chest really saying to us? It's saying to us, a deep insecurity, a false bravado. The military are supposed to pull their shoulders back, stick their chest out, and appear brave and strong and so on, but really it's a protective armor hiding a huge inner vulnerability. So as a therapist, you can start getting clues here immediately. You don't have to reach for a textbook or quantum notes or anything. You can see already what's happening. We want to always just check, the strong chest showing us the arrogance and the inner vulnerability, and the weak chest, the lack of self-identity, haven't really found themselves, never found themselves properly, and that's where that hopelessness comes in. So the breath is vital, for releasing tension and letting go in a stress, letting go. It's the breath. The breathing, that deep breathing enables the opening of the chest and the heart and the letting go of stress. The rib cage is critical here as well. Let's just go to another slide and see where we are here regarding posture and the ribs. So we've got the lungs, in the middle there. We've got the heart. And now we're talking about the rib cage itself, which starts at the back of the spine, and all the ribs come around to the front, to the sternum. Some are joined to the sternum and some are actually free. So we're talking now about standing up straight, none of these, and breathing properly with our breathing apparatus. And we're talking about the rib cage here and how posture is going to affect our ability to get maximum oxygen to the cells. And bearing in mind emotion, that's what I'm focusing on today, is the emotional aspect of breathing. Okay. So the ribs are protecting our organs, as I said, and they are kind of the sentinel guardian of our inner being. Interesting. So bruised or broken ribs, have you let your guard down, for example? Have you set your boundaries, your limitations? It's quite interesting when infections go into the ribs, and we often get it on our quantum machine. It comes through to us. So we know what's going on here. The feelings of vulnerability or exposure, or allowing someone too close to you. That's when we start getting rib issues. And the rib needs to not expand, but it needs to allow the diaphragm to expand. That's why not all the ribs are joined to the sternum at the bottom, not all joined at the point of the sternum, which is actually a very interesting point at the sternum. It's a sadness point, and it's allows emotional issues to fester. So often people protect their middle point, including their solar plexus. We'll speak about that in a moment. So this diaphragm is critical now as well, because if we get back to our picture, the diaphragm is now underneath that rib cage there. It's a type of a fascia ligament there. All right, and that needs to expand when we breathe in and contract when we breathe out, allowing the air out. Expand when we breathe in, contract when we breathe out. Lots of problems there. It's one of the craniosacral points that we loosen first thing. We loosen the diaphragm because lots of emotions are held in there, that sadness point and the solar plexus too. So how are we doing here? We're talking about this diaphragm, the deep breathing, and the diaphragm is generally associated with deep past feelings that are held. Remember, we talked about the gut. I mean, the gut is really a central point for all emotions. So the diaphragm is close by as well. And now we're looking at the abdomen. All right, so this is this part down here, and we're going to come to the rib, the hips and the pelvis in a moment, and the place where we need to draw the oxygen up. But for the moment now, we're looking at the abdomen, all right, which is housing also important organs, and also got a great role, because when we've got tightly held muscles in the abdomen, when that abdomen is tight, it's also indicating vulnerability, fear of feeling, and it's the gut, the center of our emotions. So when that's tight, we can't always often get to the bottom of the lungs to breathe completely in and completely out. So the tightly held muscles are vulnerability, but a loose, soft, flabby sort of a gut is indicating, lack of uprightness, lack of dignity, inner dissatisfaction, inner yearning, a kind of a who cares attitude. So again, just a small observation as an individual, as a therapist, you can start getting, an emotional feeling here, what's up with this person. And then remember below the solar plexus is next. So we're talking about the solar plexus here, and it's the point when you fold your arms, you normally cover the solar plexus. So that's an important vulnerability point, and it's close to the navel too, and it's about your balance, your center balance. So you can either be absorbing all the negativity through the solar plexus, or you can be giving out the sunshine, the solar parts. So again, have a look and see how your patient or your friend or whoever you're looking at, your child, is operating, because if they're absorbing all the negativity down, the chest is indicating all of this, that's out of balance. And also vice versa, people can give out too much. So again, you're going to see that in the bravado posture. So just below the belly button, it's about 5 centimeters below the belly button in the abdomen, it's the point called the hara point, which the Chinese refer to as our most vital point, the most vital chi, life force, prana point. And they will often do belly button work and focus on above the belly button, below the belly button, to the left and the right like a clock, and bring in the vital forces that way, which is really, really an unbelievable exercise to do. If anybody's already had that treatment, it's amazing. And we use the belly button and this point a lot for balancing blood pressure, both low and high. So it's a very important point there, but mostly it's our central point, it's our anchoring, it's our gut feel. Okay, so it's our gut feel, and that's what I'm talking about right now. It needs to be balanced, not too much negativity, not too much giving out of energy, balanced all the time. So it's that non-judgmental awareness, the non-reactivity. It doesn't mean you're not feeling love and joy and passion and all of that. It's about non-reacting to the trials that are put in front of us, other people's stuff. So you can always give them back their stuff and know not to take it. So putting boundaries is very, very important in anyone's space in order to get the central point. So moving down now to the hips and the pelvis. Okay, so this is our grid. Our pelvic grid needs to be totally balanced, often very out of balance due to falls. I remember when my children were small, I used to take them to a chiropractor at least annually, because as they were growing and the bones were forming, I wanted to make sure that the left and the right was in alignment. And they did horse riding and soccer and all of this kind of thing. And so I wanted to just make sure, that they were in balance completely. So that's what I did, was years before I knew anything about quantum medicine. But our balance and our stability comes from the pelvis and the hips, and the breathing, the air needs to get there. So sore back, sore lower back at the back in particular is where we really hide our deepest emotions. Right, we often get pinched nerves there because the muscles are too tight. We're holding that lower back so much. Our support, our inner support, not even worrying about the external support, but our inner support gets back to self-love, self-worth, selflessly putting yourself first. We've got to learn this because it's part of centeredness. If you're giving out through the solar plexus and everywhere, giving out your electrons, constantly running your battery low, how can you be centered? You're not going to be able to think clearly and live productively 365 days a year, you see. So that the tight abdomen in the front, the sore lower back, the lumbar, the sacrum, is often where we get lots and lots of pain. And sometimes sciatica, it goes through the hips, down the leg, very painful indeed as well. And we have, awesome exercises to do, ways to release the pelvic girdle, the lumbar, the sacrum, which is always linked to the thoracic vertebrae, the cervical vertebrae, right up to the occipital anyway. That's the importance of craniosacral work, which we do manually and also on the computer, the quantum software. So, I hope you're sort of checking your body out here and having a look and seeing, wow, which one of these is me, or maybe that's me, or maybe that's me. So immediately I would put a cushion behind this lady's back, and I would raise the diaphragm. I would open the chest so that the breath could happen, and the oxygen could get to the lungs, the vital organs, and up to the head and the kidneys and liver and so on. So let's just move on. Here is a beautiful picture of centered balance, which I want to show you. So this is Tai Chi, balance central point for maximized breath for both inhalation and exhalation, where you're feeling sense of love, peace, harmony, easefulness. Things are flowing like the water, round the rock and on its way, round the rock and on its way, meandering down. That's how we need to be living our life, and with ease, not with resistance. If you're meeting resistance and the body's sore and things are not working for you, there's too much force. You're trying to control too much, right? So what we say to people is we need to operate from a position of contentment. One of the questions we ask people is, what is how great is your desire for things to be different? Some people, it's 10 out of 10. Some people, contentment, 2, 3. They would change a few things here and there which are manageable, and they can. So we always say, change what you can and surrender to what you can't. So very, very important, this whole aspect of operating to get your centered point, contentment, as opposed to greed and want and desire. So contentment is first, with gratitude, looking around you, looking inside you, and being thankful for everything. Everything. You can write notes yourself as well. Then, with the clear thinking, the good posture, the good breathing, alkaline body, low inflammation, high oxygen levels, we can then think clearly, live productively, and make the right intelligent decisions in terms of what we feel we need to be aspiring to next. Aspiring is the word, it's not control. We are aspiring to this. We are making an effort to do this because we've worked with our meditation, our potential energy, our imagination, intuition, inspiration, which is the in-breath anyway, and the out-breath, and which is coming into the manifestation of kinetic energy. So when you meditate, you want to also be in this position. You want to be upright. And there's always a gap at the back of my chair. In fact, my doggies sit there sometimes because I'm not going to slouch, and I'm not going to sit back either. I'm going to hold myself. My spine needs to hold me. And then I've got that line through me. And I'm operating in my central point, and the breath and the ease, that last slide I showed you in the Tai Chi position shows you the balance. All right. So I'm just trying to show us ways and things of being in our central point. That's an aside. But in terms of operating with contentment, gratitude for everything, aspiring to where we want to be, our purpose, our vocation, that is when God will meet with us, the universe will meet with us and take us to the next level. We need to aspire first and do the effort, and we will be met. And that happens every time, but we need to be operating like water. Water flowing like a leaf, pun intended, on the top of the water, just floating down gently, not getting stuck anywhere. We say on the quantum software, obstacles are an illusion of the mind. They're basically there for you to tighten up and redirect yourself a little bit of a diversion here, and to gaily, move through your life on a day-to-day basis. So I hope this is helping you a lot in terms of operating from your central point. So if we continue, and that's a vision that I have and I hold, because that's how I want to be in balance. Balanced yin and yang, balanced chi, balanced life force, balanced gravity and levity, balance on every level. Of course, all our whole foods, we're going to bring in life force, going to bring in loads of electrons, and electrons are going to assist with the free flow of the life force and the prana and the chi throughout the body. Lots of life force there, the brilliance of the colors, and market without plastic. We looked at these slides before, and some of these superfoods all containing high life force, high chi, high prana. If you cook them, you lose it. So raw is always better. Reishi mushrooms, spirulina, pollen are just a couple, and then just what the theme is the lung detox. I just want to go through this again, and then I'm going to recap everything for you. So many people have come in and bought the lung cleanse and restore. So we're cleaning and we're restoring with nutrients. So that's what the cell oxygen will do. It's what the lung cleanse will do with all the herbs to restore and rebuild and revitalize the lungs, clean off the plaque, clean up the mycoplasmas, clean up the TB, the pneumonias, remove all the toxins in there, the cadmium, the diphtheria vaccination, the asbestos, the other particulate matter from the environment, which when that lives in the lungs, and the bacteria and funguses and mycoplasmas come, they form a film over the lung tissue and the membrane, and then lower oxygen comes in. So we have to be very critical here. The peri-immune defense, it's always for lungs, and it kills all the bacteria, funguses, yeasts, and they don't have a chance, not with the oxygen and that. Some people use the oxygen drops of ours, the cell vitality, and then the replica RNA DNA is absolutely critical for lungs, to restore, regenerate the human genome, every cell in the lungs, obviously the whole body, because it's not exclusive, we're an inclusive body. And so that is a vital product, because many people are very low in these nuclear proteins, uracil, guanine, cytosine, thymine, adenine. It's almost, we can't do without it to repair the lungs. And, you know, in back to the peri-immune, we've got cordyceps, which is a medicinal mushroom, the best one for the lungs. And the athletes love it too. It activates the absorption of oxygen. Siberian ginseng in there as well also does that. Chlorella and bee pollen in particular. So very nice little pack there, I think, to restore it. There's other ingredients that we need too, and that's the microbiome reset to imprint on the genetic code to boost the immunity. And the flaxseed oil here as well, because that will line the lining of the lungs so that the bacteriophages can live there. The immunity in the lungs is up so it can expel and deal quickly with any foreign toxins that are coming in. Well, we also use almost gold. We also use some other products. I'll show you now. So this is the special on this one, which you can see there's a nice saving there as well. And then, you know, these are important products. The Trifla is 3 fruit enzymes. I've talked before. There's our enzyme formula with 7 enzymes that cover everything. This is the fruit enzymes. This will condition the gut and the blood. We need the blood conditioned, of course, for the flow. And the enzymes are critical oxygenase enzymes to transfer the oxygen through to the blood and to the cell. And the microbiome reset has those enzymes in it. So enzymes are always critical, especially if there's protein buildup in the blood. Here's the bee pollen and the supercell oxygen, and these are critical because I told you already, and in the other videos, they activate the oxygen transfer, absolutely critical. And then our magical almost gold, which is got gold, silver, copper, nickel, iridium, palladium, osmium, platinum, ruthenium, all the platinum precious metal minerals, which are virtually non-existent in the soil and in the plants. And we need it both intracellularly and extracellularly to function. We need it to charge our battery. We need gold, silver, copper. These are the superconductive metals. And most people are really low, and, you know, gold, silver, copper especially. So we measure it, and this is our part of our toolkit for that. The RNA we did. Here's our medicinal mushroom, which has got the cordyceps, the reishi, chaga, shiitake, lion's mane, maitake, and we've also got the Coriolis. Here's a nice oxygen product, DMSO, which is tree plant sap. So not only detoxifying from the sulfur, but the oxygen too. It's almost containing, it's natural, it's organic. All of these products are natural, organic, nature made. We do not manufacture, we blend. And here would be also the almost, okay. The flaxseed oil I've talked about, and that is the highest life force containing oil. It's the oil that sets that electrical potential across the cell membrane. So fatty acids are critical, raw fatty acids from cold pressed flaxseed oil. Here's some big guns as well when there's lots of infection. The iodine kills on impact and it detoxifies the body. It does a lot of other things too. And especially degenerative tissues, breasts, breast cancer, cystic breasts. Iodine's critical. It gets right to the root of the degeneration and removes the degenerative tissue. The para-immune defense works with the iodine differently from a herbal point of view, also to detox completely, as I said. Here are our drops, and these form what was our COVID kit, still is our COVID kit, but you know what? You treat all these infections the same because the root cause is the same. And then not to discount the effect of radiation on the lungs and all our cells. So we've got earthing mats. This is a large one, 60 centimeters by 20. It's a 2-in-1. There's a wrist strap, which you can connect to underneath the seat of your car, which will keep you in a 0 voltage, which is as if you're touching the grass, the ground, and also then the mat. So it's a 2-in-1, which is lovely. I'm on mine all the time. We've got an EMF pendant here, which is going to shift the EMF, the radiation frequencies as they come to you. And so in permanent reshift mode, rearranges the frequencies of the radiation coming at you, restores the DNA. And here is our really major time crystal. With the scalar wave protection, somebody said to me today, don't assume, Jane, that we all know what these are, even though you speak about it every week, twice a week. So this is the scalar wave pendant device, and this is the one that we wear. And just to talk a little bit about the scalar wave and the central point. So we have, if you consider this the core of the apple, the vortex, and we have a golden mean spiraling up and outwards and coming down. We have a golden mean spiraling downwards, opposite the yin and the yang, out and up. So the yin and the yang are balancing when they set the scalar wave around us, just like an apple, if we're the core of the apple. And we need to get this vortex spinning as fast as we can, because that is high life force. That's vitality, that's health, that's strength, that's maximize energy. And so that is the scalar wave. What this device does is it sets a 24/7 scalar wave for you. It's a piezoelectric time crystal. So it's a crystal between two magnets which allow it to shift form, the crystal. And so it charges the crystal, and this crystal shifts form in real time with you. Okay, and as you're thinking some emotion, whatever, it will go there. It will allow you to go to the past through retrocausality and dot the I's and cross the T's regarding emotions, then finish with them. Relive them. Make the right decisions, intelligent decisions from there, and close those emotions that are no longer serving you. Let them go. Also, shifting to the future, which is the premonitions of the future. So those of you who wear these permanently, will have experienced going into the future, dipping in and seeing certain things, seeing your clinic, seeing your center, seeing your life, seeing just future, anything. And you bring that back to the present in your central space, and we can operate then in a dynamic way. And if you've gone with used premonitions, you know what you're aspiring to. So it's as clear as daylight. And this scalar wave, wearing this, gives you that central dynamic point. It's that feeling when you're scuba diving, that central balanced point. You're not going up, you're not going down, you just are. And the breathing is stable. And that's what this does. You get a feeling of centered, grounded, centered, not towards off the EMF, the radiation. Anything I speak about like this, the earthing mats, the pendant, this time crystal device, I've measured it all using either a voltmeter or the quantum device. Okay, so we know what we're doing. We have valid results. The time crystal will reduce adrenaline levels, balance hormone levels, insulin, digestion, thyroid, liver, adrenals, most important. So in our pineal gland, we have hundreds, thousands of piezoelectric crystals. They're already there. Our whole body is full of them, but especially the pineal gland. When I put this on, my pineal gland definitely opened. It was on another frequency. So it's also charging our battery, our piezoelectric battery in us too. So there's lots more on this time crystal and all the videos. If you go to the 365 Healthy by Choice website and you type in search time in type crystal, you will go to the landing page, and there's lots of videos. There's loads of information explaining how to wear it, how to use it, what to do with it. If it's a tooth problem, you can even hold it on the tooth area. So it's about our central point, operating from the 0 point. That's what it's called. Zero-based non-locality. It's where our subconscious is. It's everywhere in the world. So if we're using our quantum software, our devices, we can key into somebody anywhere in the world, and we can get to that point where we're helping them get to their central point by detoxifying on the one hand and realigning on the other hand, and nourishing and resetting, repairing organs, repairing emotions. So I hope today I've given you, a viewpoint that you hadn't quite maybe got to it in this sort of depth. The products are available at Willita pharmacies, Jackson Real Food Markets, and obviously online. So they're available. This is all available. The consultations are available. I'm happy to help anyone anywhere in the world. We're global already. We send the products globally too, and all about getting to our central point, and working with what's there. And I think the vibration of the earth right now, where we are right now, people's bodies are wanting to shift that emotion quickly, and the speed at which they're moving is incredible. You don't take half a year to deal with a sadness kind of thing. So you try and fix other people, meantime you're broken yourself, those kind of things. So it's really easy peasy. And you know, that's what we can offer from a quantum medicine holistic point of view. You know, plant-based, nature-made quantum medicine, food state, in the form the body's innate ability can absorb and know what to do. Because I'm certainly not cleverer than nature or my body. So we do things that the human mind can't do on its own. We work in the morphogenic field, and which is quantum field. We're working with obviously physical, but mostly with the subconscious and the superconscious. And, you know, interdimensionally as well as along the continuum of our life, we bring in, we do lots of ancestral clearing and try to reduce the control that we all try to get, because the more we try to control, the more out of control we actually